at the Volvo estate coming your way, the 2-litre cars, or Supertourers as they're called in Australia, out on the Adelaide streets at the moment on their warm-up lap. Now that's how they'll start. Brad Jones sits on pole. Now his best time yesterday was a 1:41.83. Compare that to Johnny Bow in the 5-litre Ford with a 1:38.65. There's about 3.5 seconds the difference between these 2-litre cars and the 5-litre cars as we go through the grid. Geoff Bull did very well. Jeffrey Brabham is driving in a new BMW, just landed in Australia from the recent World Championships. Was finished in 5th place in the race yesterday, which I might add was a ding-dong affair. Paul Morris led for some time and had some problems. Didn't really worry him too much because he knew that this car potentially is going to be very, very good. Interesting there when you look at Les May, you may recall some of the fantastic times and races he's given us in a supercar around the streets of Adelaide. He's been the Australian champion many times, and well, in a big tourer this time for him, a lot bigger than the supercars that he's used to driving. Warwick Rookland, he's put in some sensational times down here in those little cars.
Well, certainly this will be a very different affair for him. These cars will be very different as far as the kart goes. Karts are very low to the ground, obviously very hard suspension. In fact, no suspension. All the suspension is done through the chassis. And this is his first race in a touring car, and he'll be gaining valuable experience from that.
Well, he'd know his way around here from the right low angle. Let me tell you, the Audis now coming up. They've been going very well. Jimmy Richards has certainly found a lot of speed in that Ford Mondeo. They've bought some package bits out from Europe, and the car is a lot different, very quick, a lot of acceleration. Now, this little car, very good, the Opel. I had a look at that this morning, and the Graham Moore's car, there is a lot of Kevlar in that car, which surprised me. And you know what? You can buy 160-odd packages to change gears in that car, and all you have to do is take a little tape out, 4 little screws, and you can change gears virtually as you want for each corner.
Well, that's the same as open-wheeler cars, and where they actually set the gear ratios up for the different corners and also for acceleration.
Yeah, they were a great little package, the Opel. I got quite a shock when I had a look at it. The roll cage, the whole thing set up. All right, here we go. Brad Jones. Now, remember, Murphy made a start off the second row yesterday. 10 laps, only seconds away. Watch Murphy. He's on the 3rd row. No, he's missed it. He's bogged down. He hasn't gone anywhere. Jones gets it. Look at Stephen Richards. Richards off the line up the inside, does well. And Jimmy Richards tucks him behind him, and Stephen Richards in the Alfa Romeo leads, came off the second row with a blinder of a start, and it's the only good one he's made all year.
And the amazing thing is the Audi Quattro should be very quick off the line with the 4-wheel drive, but they seem to have a lot of trouble getting it off. They seem to bog down all the time, but Stephen Richards in the front-wheel drive car has got the jump.
Stephen Richards gets hounded by Brad Jones, sits in behind him. It was a real scrap here yesterday. Rear vision mirrors flying everywhere and plenty of panel damage too. The Ford Mondeo of Jimmy Richards, not on the pace so much early in this race, but we know how good he is. He's a stalker, and he'll stalk them all day. The Coca-Cola BMWs are well back at this time.
Yeah, well, the Diet Coke cars, as you said, they're just out here from the World Cup. They've still got the World Cup set up from Paul Ricard and not suited to the street circuit here in Adelaide.
Jimmy Richards in 3rd place now, up behind Brad Jones as they come down onto the end of the main straight. Now, this is an interesting part of the circuit because yesterday it had plenty of mumbo, this Ford Mondeo, and he was really doing a terrific job, and again he pops out. Let's see what he can do. This is father and son now, almost side by side. Stephen said, not this time, Daddy. Sit in behind me. Follow the kid around for a change.
Yes, and it's just amazing that the Mondeo is able to outbrake the Audi, because all season the Audi's been very strong under brakes, but here at Adelaide, both the Alfa and the Mondeo seem to be able to get them at the end of the Brabham straight.
Geoff Bull in that little Peugeot, the red-yellow car, up in the 4th spot. He drove very well here yesterday, very aggressive, and there he is coming to shop with one of the Diet Coke cars sitting in behind him, but he really hung on to him pretty well, and he's doing the same today. Stephen Richards leads him over the black and white stripe yet again. There's Bull.
And the Peugeot has really come on strong all season. It came out here, it wasn't a very good package when it arrived, but they've really played around with different diffs, and they've been able to get the understeer out of the car, being able to keep the tyres to it, and certainly in Adelaide, very quick.
Jimmy Richards stalking his son Stephen at the moment. Brad Jones sits into 3rd place. Now, Jimmy did this yesterday. He just let the car dial in. All of a sudden, he found some speed. But Stephen Richards, he has got the bit between his teeth. He was very aggressive yesterday, but back in second, third and fourth spot for most of the race. This time he's going to lead him round, the little Alfa.
All season we've seen Stephen, he's got a couple of pole positions, he's led the races, but had things go wrong. Wonder whether today he can actually wrap it up and have a win.
Good idea here in straight line speed, as you'll see them come onto this very fast part of the circuit now. The Audi's dropped back from the Ford Mondeo. It's lost a bit. Jimmy starts to creep up on Stephen Richards in the Alfa Romeo now, ever so slightly. But, gee whiz, when you look at that, there's not a lot of difference. We know how well the Alfa can brake.
Yes, the front-wheel drive cars are certainly a lot quicker down the chute than the Audis, but the Audis have certainly been better around the tight, twisty corners and under brakes. But the interesting thing, going back again, is they haven't been as strong under brakes as they've been all during the season.
Well, he's doing a terrific job, the youngster at the moment, leading them around. Morris all over the back of Geoff Bull. You can see back there, that's the battle for fourth and fifth. You're coming into shot now. That's Paul Morris now. He led pretty comfortably in the race at the end yesterday. It was broken into two stages because of a bad fire. And this car showed a lot of speed toward the end, but he's having trouble getting past the Peugeot. Oh, look at that. Spin, 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 around you go. The Volvo nearly hits him, and that's McLean's car.
Yeah, Cameron McLean has got a big ding in the door there. That's the end of his race. One of the Audis as well.
Well, let's have a look at this from a different point of view. This is Murphy's on board with Greg Murphy, car 8. That's what he saw. Around they went, some carnage there. And the BMW with a pretty bent door. Okay, Geoff Bull now. He's the meat between the BMW sandwich. Morris has got past him while all of that other nonsense was happening. So Morris now is up into fourth, Bull is fifth. Geoff Brabham is back into sixth place.
Yes, Brabham will now be starting to apply the pressure. And look at Jones. Jones is starting to get back onto Jimmy Richards. And Jimmy Richards Sr. is starting to get onto the back of young Stephen.
This is not over yet, no doubt about that, as you see Brad Jones stretching the legs of the Audi, trying to get onto the Ford Mondeo, get into the slipstream, get some toe down here. Now Jimmy Richards goes another way, he goes a bit wider this time, tries to get a better turn in on son Stephen, but Stephen's got him covered pretty well. As you can see there, runs a bit wide, shuts the door on Dad.
I think as this race progresses, we're going to see the Audi get stronger. Even though they're relatively short races, the front-wheel drive cars have a tendency to really tear up their front tyres, which obviously the car that drives through, and towards the end of the race becomes slower.
Well, Jimmy Richards has made his name in Australia with driving anything with wheels on it. He doesn't mind, and he'll win races in most cars, and his son Stephen's doing exactly the same thing. He's dabbled on the ovals, he's dabbled in open wheelers, and now in touring cars. So he really has taken a leaf out of the old man's book as he leads Jimmy Richards round in the brand new sponsored car, the Ford Mondeo. But Jimmy Richards now, he closes up here, but Stephen gets him covered. Now the Alfa gets the power down pretty well. You watch that, Jimmy comes up behind him, but the Alfa gets away just as neatly.
Well, because his car in front, he's able to get the power on a little bit quicker, so he gets that little jump, but then under brakes, Jimmy Richards catches up again.
Well, nothing like the fender crunching, munching time we had yesterday. These three have really broken away. Brad Jones trying everything he can in the Audi, get pretty close as you look down on the Ford Mondeo there. And another one goes, and that's Pickett. He goes round and round and round, and the field's got to go around him. No damage, didn't hit a thing. So that's okay. Back up front, Stephen Richards now. Jimmy Richards sits in behind him, and the Audi just loses it here. Dead set, not as quick in a straight line. Jimmy closes up a lot closer this time.
Yes, the Mondeo seems to have a slight speed advantage over the Alfa, but not enough. Jimmy having a real go under brakes, locking up.
Locking up, tries to get a faster exit out through there, but young Stephen's awake to him. You can see there, got him covered. I think Jimmy Richards is really going to have to work. There's nothing in these cars as far as straight line speed goes.
Well, Jimmy Richards won the race here yesterday, and even though he's not going to give Stephen anything, I don't think he'll mind if Stephen wins this one.
Yeah, Jimmy Richards won from Murphy was in third, and I think Jones was second yesterday. That's right. So it was Richard, Jones, Murphy, and then Stephen Richards and Brabham was fifth, and it was a real cruncher. This one's been a clean affair, but a good race.
There's been a lot of, I've heard a few rumours that actually that Stephen and Jim might be in the same team. And look at Jones. Jones right over the back of Jimmy Richards now.
Jones now has a go. He decides it's time to move. He's weaving all over the place, trying to get a faster line as he comes out. Tucks it up on the inside. He might do it too. Brad Jones now, he'll lose out. Jimmy Richards squeezes him. Jones goes round the outside, gets way over on the ribble strip there. And boy, oh boy, gets the line back. What about Brad Jones? He's going off now.
Yeah, well, the four-wheel drive was certainly working there. She had still two wheels driving on the tarmac, even though two were in the dirt.
All that's done has helped Stephen Richards. He gets a little bit further ahead. Now, let's have a look at the Audi. What can it do to the Alfa Romeo? This is the good part of this racing. Alfa Romeo won. Audi second. Ford is third. So you're seeing plenty. Then in behind them, you've got BMW and Peugeot. They may be slower than the 5-litre cars, but there's certainly a lot more variety.
Well, the real thing is it's a racing, isn't it? You look at Richards now down the outside with the power of the Ford Mondeo.
Jimmy Richards lets the legs start to run on the Ford now as he goes back past Brad Jones. Frustrating for Jones. He drove so well to get that second place. But the Audi handles pretty well, and it's not bad under brakes. So he won't give up Brad Jones. He's a fighter all the way, but Jimmy, too much horsepower there and got past Brad Jones. But they can't do anything about Stephen Richards out in front. We'll take a break. Stay with us, Australia. What a street fight round the streets of Adelaide.
Fingers crossed they get it right. Win it to the left, win it to the right.
So Stephen Richards brings them up the main straight. A massive crowd here at Adelaide watching this Supertourers. The first time they've raced this weekend in Adelaide, and they've really enjoyed it. Most of the drivers, it's been a bit of an experience for them, because it can be a pretty daunting place if you haven't been here once or twice before, as Jimmy Richards dances a little now under brakes. Back with a dive coat car. Oh, is that Geoff Full? That's got to be Geoff Brabham. Brabham, bang, straight up the back. Thank you, ma'am. Get out of my way. And there it is for you. Geoff Full. Well, that's bad luck for Full, because gee whiz, he's been driving well over the weekend.
Yeah, and I can tell you, this is exactly what Frank Gardner was talking about. He was saying, coming here with brand new cars, we didn't really want to do this, but we're using it as a shakedown for next year, because the trouble is you can go out and crash the cars and it puts your development back, and that's exactly what's happened there.
Yeah, well, bad luck for Geoff Brabham. Well, I don't suppose you can say that he's really got involved with touring cars since he's come to Australia. He's had some great drive. And here's now Jimmy Richards, looms up on the outside, side by side. It's Jimmy Richards, Stephen Richards with the Audi sitting behind him. Let's have a look at young Stephen now. What's he made of? He's made of plenty. Mr. Jimmy, come and get me if you can. It's not going to be that easy.
Well, that's fantastic. Father and son, I thought they were going to have a little bit of a tap there under brakes, but Stephen had the inside line. Jimmy had to go the long way around, had to pull back in. But Jones now over the back of Jimmy Richards again. Yeah, not bad racing, is it? Brad Jones now tucks in behind Jimmy Richards again. They're 1, 2 and 3 well back of the rest of them. You saw what happened to Geoff Brabham and Full in the Peugeot. He continued as far as I can see. But Brabham certainly damaged his car. He won't be going any further. Now, Jimmy Richards, as they come down to this very interesting part of the circuit, quite fast through here. And one of the interesting thing about super touring racing is we've got front-wheel drive. Jimmy Richards now having a go. Jimmy Richards down. It's going to take the long way around. He won't do it that way.
No, can't do it. You see the puffer back of Brad Jones. Brad Jones takes advantage of that. He comes up beside Jimmy Richards. He should get the run here. He's gone very wide in the Audi. Watch him dive back and he'll get him here. Yes, he does, up on the curb. So Jimmy Richards lost a lot there, went very wide, and that car just got so loose. Now they're side by side. Again, the Audi gets the power down nicely and gets the line through the corner. But all of that's done is let Stephen Richards get in front again. Yeah, well, Jones gave Jimmy Richards a big squeeze there, pushed him right wide, which is, you know, fair enough, I suppose. And that's been able to get Jimmy Richards off the back. Now, the thing is, has he got a big enough gap when they get onto the Brabham straight that the Mondeo, the extra speed of the Mondeo, doesn't overtake the Audi again? You can see Jones starting to drive defensively now, pulling to the inside. So Jimmy Richards, he knows he's got plenty of mumbo in this thing. It's got grunt in a straight line, and look at that, he just drives straight past Jones, but Jones holds him down under brakes nicely. It takes it up on the inside, still stays ahead of Jimmy Richards. Stephen Richards down in front. The Audi now slips through there nicely, comes and looks good through this part of the circuit. Jimmy Richards Richards got his hands full here, the master. Wow, is this a good race he's having with his son and Jones?
Now watch Jimmy Richards under brakes. There's a chance to outbrake your competitors here, but no, he can't do it. Now Jones really has to put the hammer down, try and get the advantage, get away from Jimmy Richards, get onto the back of Stephen, so he can get on with attacking Stephen.
Jimmy Richards tries to come up the inside, but the door is shut firmly from Jones and the Audi. You can see them working the ripple strips here now, and Stephen Richards hasn't put a tyre wrong. He has done a sensational job. All of this carnage has been on behind him, and he's just kept his line and kept his cool and kept the lead. So it's Richards-Jones, Richards-Morrison full. They're the placings for you.
And we can see now Brad Jones has got a bit of a gap over Jimmy Richards. He's got onto the tail of the Alfa of Stephen Richards, and he'll be working very hard.
Traffic up in front, Warwick, that'll be interesting.
Yes, well, lap traffic can always throw a bit of a herring into it, and certainly if Stephen Richards walks a little bit, Brad Jones will be right there to take advantage of it.
All right, now there's the traffic up in front. They might get it. In fact, they will get that car in the right spot because they should have enough power to go through. Richards goes one way. Look at Brad Jones up on the inside. Takes no risk at all. Now comes back inside and look at Jimmy Richards. Jimmy Richards absolutely flying at the end of the straight and goes past Brad Jones. Well, Jones went up the inside line and left the door open for Jimmy, and Jimmy comes up into second place. Jones back into third. Stephen Richards still in front.
Well, it just shows you one little mistake coming onto the Brabham straight. Jones ran a little bit wide, lost a few revs, and Richards was able to get the perfect run on there and just pull straight past him.
So Stephen Richards has Dad Jim sitting in behind him yet again. He'd have the mirrors full of hungry jacks. That's what he'd be looking at. And he's got his mirrors full of an Audi. There's no doubt about it. Look how close they are now. Jimmy Richards once again poach out, has a look. Let Stephen knows he's there.
Okay, with only 2 laps to go now, it looks like the tyres are hanging in surprisingly well on the front-wheel drive cars. And Jimmy Richards now got his mirrors full of Brad Jones and Stephen Richards with his old man.
So Jimmy now, watch the thing. He gets twitchy on the brakes and Brad Jones comes around the outside again. Oh, Brad Jones, he doesn't mind a bend, a fender or two, and he gets into second place and gets right underneath the bumper bar of Stephen Richards. This is a ding-dong street fight. It's a beauty.
Well, the Audi's so strong through this part of the circuit. He'll be changing over from second to third all through that twisty bits, and he's just got to try and get onto the back of that Alfa, but I think we're going to see Jimmy Richards whiz past him again when they get on the Brabham straight.
Biggest crowd they've ever raced. In front of him, there's a tap too. Brad Jones has got there, and Jimmy Richards says, you want to play tap? I'll just go past you. Brad Jones taps Stephen Richards and drops back to third. Jimmy Richards up to second. They're running out of laps now. As I said, the biggest crowd they've raced in front of, and they're turning it on. Paul Morris not too far back in the Diet Coke BMW, but I don't think he's got enough time to stay in touch. There he is there.
Well, certainly, the way these three are going, I'm amazed that one of them hasn't got off the circuit. Jimmy Richards locks up a front tyre. Stephen Richards was wide.
Richards now goes up on the inside, and Jimmy's pulled it off. He's had a look, and they go through there side by side. It's Audi and Alfa Romeo, but Jimmy Richards, he tested them 4 or 5 laps there and got past, and look at the gap he's opened up already.
Oh, you got to feel a little bit sorry for Stephen. He was really hanging in there well, but one little mistake, and bang, he's gone back.
I don't call him the master for nothing. He's a great race planner. He's a driver of thinker. Jimmy Richards, he had a look 4 or 5 times in that area of the track till finally got the run through. Now Stephen Richards, he's up in a second. Has he got enough horsepower to go through? They're on their last lap. Brad Jones now sits right up in behind him. Brad Jones will love to knock him off. There's traffic there, but they're getting through okay. So it's Jimmy Richards. Stephen's led the entire race, and Jimmy does that. Now Brad has a look, but the Alfa power too good.
Yes, Brad Jones, he's really always been quick through this part, but I don't think he's got enough in reserve to hold them out. So the big battle, I think, between first and second will be between father and son, Jim and Stephen.
Paul Morris has done a great job in the BMW to drag it up into 4th place. He's not that far off the pace. Well, I mean, he's learning off the master, but we'll come back to that in a minute because Brad Jones again goes wide there. Loses again a little bit of ground, and Paul Morris, when you look at that, that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Morris has done a great job to drag that BMW up to where it is.
Well, certainly Morris can really grab a car by the scruff of the neck and get it to do the job. Now, Let's have a look whether Stephen can get up behind Jim and have a go at him under brakes for the last time.
Last chance to do it. Jimmy's got him covered. The Alfa Romeo won't be able to do anything there. Now, can he get the power down quick enough? No, he can't. So Jimmy Richards leaves Stephen Richards. Only a couple of corners to go. They call him the master. You can call him the fox. But I tell you what, he's a racer's racer.
Well, Stephen's got one more chance to outbrake him. There's another place on the circuit you can outbrake your competitors, and that's going into the Adelaide hairpin.
Can't see that happening. He's too wild of the old man for that. Well, it's been a terrific scrap, and what a thrill for these two. 1 and 2 at Adelaide. They'll love this. Jimmy Richards takes it out. The Super Tourer race from Stephen Richards, and Brad Jones only just gets over the line from Paul Morris in the BMW came fourth. Jimmy Richards, he's the winner. Stephen Richards, he's learned a lot today. Brad Jones has done a great job. Well done, Morris.